It's Apollo P here with Two Bridge TV and with my guy Windysmoke. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, you're good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you have an interesting story before we got on camera. We have to chop it up a little bit. So I want to share that story with the people that are watching about who Windysmoke is. All right. So where were you born?
I was born in Toronto. I mean, born on Silverthorne, moved to Western Road at 9 months. Been there ever since.
Yeah.
And then back and forth from Western Road to Jamaica. So like that culture is instilled in me too, right?
Yeah. So what caused you to, I guess, go over to Jamaica since you were born in Canada?
I was like a troubled youth. Like, my mom's like, yo, you're giving too much trouble in school. You're always getting suspended. If it's not this, is another thing. So she's like, yo, I'm sending you back to Jamaica. She's like, yo, cause she's old. She's an older lady. Mom never hit me growing up. You know? I think that's funny still. Like everybody I talk to always tells me they got hit, but my mom never hit me ever in life. So it's like she's like, you know, she can't handle this, so she sent me back to Jamaica to more old people.
Causing so much stress.
For sure. Yeah, so.
So are you an only child?
Like my mom, my dad has 11 kids, but I didn't really go over them.
Yeah.
So my mom has like 3 of us, but they're in their 40s now. Like they're both 20 years older than me, so never grew up close. But I have like nephews that I have a niece, but I have nephews that are my age, 30, 29, 26, 23. So those are like my brothers growing up. You know what I mean?
So I guess so you having older siblings, like did they ever come down and tell you how to to move, or were they just so old and moving, shaking, and popping themselves they didn't really have time for you to give you the?
It's like you could come and tell me how to move, but you guys are women. Like I never had that guy like in my life, like you know, to say, yo, listen to me, like this is how you have to move, this is how you have to move. Like my whole perspective is basically like my mom's perspective.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just me and her basically grew up since I was a youth till now.
That's actually a benefit sometimes, right? Because when you have older people in your life, they obviously go through a lot more life, but like they're able to install like what they see. Because as people grow older, as they grow older, people change, right? So it's different. Like imagine having a child at like 20, and then growing up with that child, and then you having a child later on. You're able to go like, all right, this is what I adopted from my life.
And like as a you, I'm not listening to that. Like my mom's trying to tell me something, but like she literally had lived like two of my lifetimes. Like, you know what I mean? So like her perspective is like a really smart perspective. Yeah. But as a kid growing up, you see your friends doing certain stuff that you can't do. Kind of gets you upset. Like you're trying to go to Europe now, you're trying to do this. At 13, 14, your mom's like, are you crazy? Like, I don't know. Like to me, like everybody was doing it was normal.
I couldn't get no sleepovers as a child, so I understand. Yeah. So what caused you to move from Toronto to Jamaica? Like, what were you up to?
I was like a troubled youth in school, class clown type of nigga. So like my mom's like, yo, she doesn't want that structure for her son, you know. So she sent me back, went to school out there, learned the culture. Culture was lit. Like I had a great time in Jamaica, but like it just teaches you militancy. Like when I came back, I already knew how to move. A lot of stuff that's funny in Canada is not funny no more. Like when I was a kid, I used to laugh at bare stupid stuff. Then you go there, you're like, oh shit, that's just not funny. Like you know what I mean? But like that's just another perspective of that type of world, right? Yeah. Because it's a big world out there, and a lot of people laugh at certain stuff that a lot of people don't laugh at.
Exactly. So did your humor change?
Like big time. Like,
oh man!
I used to make some jokes that like I would never run again. Like you know, it's a different vibe now.
So what do you the same jokes or the same type of style of jokes or genre jokes over here? Or do they still make you laugh, or is it not?
Yeah, cause it's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like what the fuck? I don't even know how you would even say that, but like it's just like Hollywood is a different type of world than Jamaica, right? Yeah. So it's like just two different brands of way of thinking, like you know what I mean? Yeah. But a lot of that way of thinking is installed by people that captured like our type of people. So it's like when you kind of understand that, but some people don't like to even pre that deep, so they just leave it surface.
Yeah. I guess one more thing about the culture and things like that. Did your jokes get better? After, if you're being around a lot of like tough crowd people, like you gotta be like your jokes.
Those people in Jamaica are still hilarious. They're still hilarious. Like that's why I know you could be hilarious without using certain type of jokes, right? Yeah. Like just their everyday personality makes me laugh. Look, man's always look at me and say, "Yo, dog, stop laughing at me," like you know what I mean? Because what I think is hilarious, these guys think is like super serious or whatever. Like you know what I mean?
Okay, so as you were moving back and forth between Jamaica and Toronto, I guess how'd you get into coming into music?
I was down there. I was rapping before I went there, like for fun. Like me and my classmates used to go at it, freestyle battles or whatever, just for fun or whatever. And then I went to Jamaica. So basically, I was in Canada. When I was in Canada, I only knew like Elephant Man and Beanie Man, Sean Paul, people that came on BT or whatever. Yeah. I went down there and I'm hearing beard foolishness in my ears. I'm like, what the heck is this man saying? Then it kind of slowed down for me because I started listening to like Movado. Yeah. Movado kind of caught my ear at first, and then I started understanding the lingo, and then that's when like it was a rap. Like I started listening to Cartoon, and I started understanding the detailing of his lyrics. I'm like, oh shit, like nah, these guys are different. Like, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do this shit. Like, you know, I fell in love with the whole culture. I was dancing out there. I was doing the most. Like right now, you know those pasta videos? I'm probably on a couple of those.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you. I remember going to high school and seeing those pasta like videos 1, 2, 3. Hey man, that stuff was wild too.
Trust me, bro.
You saying you were in one of those?
I was probably in those back in the day. Cause like even when I used to be in Jamaica, I'm a big nigga, so they used to call me Sean Kingston on the microwave. Out there, Sean Kingston, whatever. I'm a big like entity out there, like you know what I mean. So like the first time I even got like a serious bubble, like the girls like literally held me back and was trying to brace it on me. I'm like, yo, chill, like you know, I'm shy. I'm used to this shit in front of everybody. Like 13, 14, some big ladies. Like if a nigga did that to a girl, that's a rape, right? So it's like the same shit. Like girls are raping me and shit.
You're lit out there. So alright, so what type of job? Since you're out in the culture, I assume you adapted the Jamaican culture of music and stuff like that. Yeah. Since you said the music, the language started to make more sense to you.
Because I'm there now every day.
So what, you got into dancehall music?
Dancehall, I was doing that for, like, after I fell in love with the culture, I didn't even remember about rap. Like, I couldn't listen to it for years. Like, that's why I was kind of out of tune with, like, everything after 50 Cent, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, like, it was like a blur to me. Like, I never listened to none of that. Anytime that music came on, hurt my head. But then I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, like, I just hurt my head. Like, BT, like, raised me, like, you know? Before YouTube came in, and when YouTube came in, and everyone searching for the artists after that. So like anything after 2007, like I was out of tune with that. Like I just.
You were completely like immersed inside the Jamaican culture.
Yeah, like I was just trapped in that bubble.
Wow. So as you were trapped inside the bubble, as you said, how deep did you go into your music? Like how did you expand your brand and types of music that you put out during the dancehall era of your life?
Just doing like bare like girl songs, like bare gangster music, bare culturally music, like the basics, like you know. Just kept on doing all of that type of stuff, and then it just worked for me. Like I emerged, like so I came back from Jamaica like when I was like 13. Then they had these parties like the all ages. I was always in the all ages. My nigga Obi was DJing at the time. Mana Gallus, all these guys were just playing my songs. So I was like big in the dancehall scene, performing in front of like 500 people at night sometimes, 700 people at night, getting bookings. So it was like.
And this is when you were 13. How old were you?
Like 13, 14, 15, 16 that whole time.
Oh, wow.
I'm probably up to 17. Like you know what I mean. Then like situation happened where like I got shot by accident, so I kind of slowed down, and I went back out there. I was doing just bare music until.
So you got shot by accident? Let's tap into that. Like, what were you performing or is it?
Nah, it was like I was at my brother's house, and like, as I said, like a lot of people are militant, like you know, like because I grew up in a different era. Like I just know like if you're around certain things, you don't point it at nobody or whatever. So that's what happened. Like it just basically pointed at me, and whatever happened.
You got hit in the arm, leg?
Nah, like under my heart.
Hey man, thank God you're here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Damn, like, so I guess after that situation, how did that, I guess, change you as a person? Although it was an accident, like, how did that change you as a...
I always been that type of humble youth, though, like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people would have took that and tried to make an excuse and go about life a different type of way. Like, I was always that little, like militant, humble type of guy. Like, so it's like it happened, a lot of people don't even know that it happened, like, you know? So it's like, I'm just...
Oh, so you kept it on the rap stuff then?
Yeah, because, like, it's not nothing to boast about. Or
I know,
that, but as your story goes along, you just tell people that part of your story, just to make people get an understanding of how you move and why you move, how you move, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not no punk, but, like, I don't like to go around certain type of crowds, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because I know what my levels are.
Yeah, exactly, so, damn. You're 17, you had got, what, accidentally shot at 17?
Yeah.
Damn. So what?
In October.
And how long were you, like, I guess, took to recover? Because you said right under the heart, right?
Probably like 2 weeks.
2? Oh, wow.
Because I'm young, right? So, like, my body, like...
Wolverine type stuff.
Yeah. wasn't really
So I guess after that incident and that trajectory within music that you had within dancehall, do you continue to pursue dancehall?
Yeah, right after, like I got out of hospital, started making tracks. Still got my biggest track 2013 that everybody fell in love with.
Can you say the name?
This track called Fuck Friend.
Okay.
Like it's a dancehall song, like, you know what I mean? Did like bare streams on YouTube at the time, and fucked up all the parties, all of that type of shit. Like, you know, made me feel like a real celebrity because now I'm touching real. Like I'm on my steps and girls are coming up to me like I was like Justin Bieber and shit. Like, so I was like, I like that. I'm living, like, you know what I mean?
So, big hit. You got your big song in 2013.
Yeah, like at that time.
That was a. So you had. It sounded like your trajectory within dancehall was going up.
And then and then in like 2013, later on in the year, like I commented under one of Popcorn's posts and he replied back to me, told to suck my mom or whatever. So then I made this track called One in the Face of 5 in a Belly, and then it even blew up even more. Like it just the momentum will just keep on going.
So so you sound like you're really doing well in this genre, right?
Yeah, super
well. So what made you want to transition to hip hop? It just sounds from coming in from talking to you, it just sounds like you sound like, not to say that you had a silver spoon in your mouth, but it just sounds like everything was going well. Like whatever could happen well was happening to you.
I just had like one day I just woke up with all the inspiration. Like Cartel's been locked up since like 2011, right? So it's like I've been doing music even after that, but like the artists that came after is not really showing me the inspiration to even continue the genre or whatever. And like you could tell by my pen, like it wasn't really propelling me. I wake up every morning. First thing I do is cut on a beat and start to listen to a beat, record it, send to my brothers like, yo, we're in tape. But like, I'm not saying I have yes men around me, but like sometimes you want to hear that, oh, this track's not really that. Like every time I put out songs like, oh, this track's bad, this track is bad.
I mean, hey man, you're going around doing well, right? So everyone's around is like, yeah, man, whatever you put out is doing well. Stuff's going up. It's like, why not tell them to put it up? You know, and also what inside the genre of dancehall, like a lot of dancehall artists do put out a lot of music. They kind of crank it up.
So, like that was when I was dropping my most music. Like before this rap stuff, I probably have like over 500 songs. Like, no joke. Literally like on YouTube, unreleased that I wouldn't even release no more. Like bare songs.
So hold on, what was your dancehall name?
Truck Matic. Yeah. My name Truck because I was a big nigga. These guys tried to give me the name Truck. I didn't like it. And then my last name like rhymes with Matix. And then this year in my class called me Matix one day. So I'm like, just put them together and then that's my name, you know?
Exactly. So that was that first chapter in your life. Music was doing well. So it sounds like right now, it sounds like you're destined for music. Like you're musically inclined.
Like I cut out everything in my life. Like I didn't think to go sell drugs. I didn't think to go be a gangster. Like I just spoke music strictly because I never wanted to put myself in jeopardy to not maybe pursue my passion. Like, you know, I probably had a job like twice in my life. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a hustler. I know how to get my money, but I don't go overboard to be something that I'm not.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
So you have like a different upbringing story in terms of like how you got into music and how you saw like success within inside the genre that you did it, right? Most people don't really necessarily see that as like, I just did it just because it was fun, but you were doing it. You were actually seeing progress with inside dancehall, and then now you transferred over after you lost your passion for the genre. Now you got into hip hop. Like, what made you want to like get into hip hop after seeing you had such success in dancehall?
Because as I said, like I lost the inspiration in dancehall, so I started looking for it elsewhere, and I started listening back to hip hop. My cutoff point was 07, and then my restart point probably 2016, 17. So that's a whole 10 years of hip hop music. So like sometimes when people cut on beats or music, and I'm like, yo, that shit hurts my head. I'm like, yo, they're like, you're crazy. Everybody's looking at me like crazy. I'm like, 10 people in the room, and I'm the only person that doesn't like the song. Like, you know, because my brain is wired one way. But like now, like I understand it. Now I understand perspective, because before I didn't understand perspectives of why people like the song. When you go through certain shit, it makes the song even more better. Like, you know what I mean?
It touches you, right?
Before I didn't know like what a chicken was or that type of food. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, what does the man really saying as music? Like, you know what I mean? And then Future and all these type of artists started coming out after, and started listening to them, and I'm like, started to really understand what's going on. And so I'm like, okay, it makes more sense now.
So how would your music reflect you as a person in terms of, I guess, sound? Are you still incorporating dancehall vibes within your music, or is it kind of like you really dived all the way within inside hip hop?
Like I'm full thrusted in hip hop now.
So no dancehall influence in you.
Nah, I'll probably like listen to one or two songs, but I don't even listen to that like I'm fully hip hop. Like
Yeah.
my Canadian roots just came right back. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just cut out, just cropped it out.
So did you find it difficult to the transition and to find like a cadence that works for you, a flow that works for you, and how you the wordplay that you would like to demonstrate at you as an artist?
I didn't find it difficult. It's like to me like I know how to write music, so it's always up to the fan base to judge if the transition was good. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to try to toot my own horn and say, oh, I did dance, so I could do hip hop. It doesn't work like that, right? You can't just get up and say you're going to do something that works. Like, it has to be like a transition where people that listen to you are like, okay, this guy is tough. And like, that's the response I've been getting, like, you know what I mean? From people that I don't know, random people I know, like, everybody's like, yo, you should have been doing this type of shit, like, you know?
So you also, like, you had a niche for it. So, I guess,
because I think from you're a songwriter, you're good. Because I could go write an R&B song, I could go write a roots song, I could just go write a song from I put my mind to it. So I think that's the best part of it.
Exactly. So your fan base from dancehall to hip hop, did they help cross over, or did they kind of just stop kind of messing with you? Because oftentimes when you said you were in the genre, and you said like when the hip hop music would hurt your head. So you gotta say some of the fan base from dancehall was like, come on, bro, what are you doing?
Dude, that's everybody's initial reaction. Because even right now, people are still saying, yo, we need back that dancehall. But I'm not saying I wouldn't tap back into that bag, but it'd have to be like a smart hit, like how Tory Lanez came with the Love You and then Drake had to control it. It'd have to be like something like that. It wouldn't be no, like, you know what I mean? But you're gonna have those people that are like, yo, we missed that vibe from you, like, you know what I mean? Naturally, because these are people that's been following you. These are people that's been supporting you from day one. So it's like when they see something different, they're gonna look at you funny and then be like, okay, it's working. Because I as much as I've like yes man friends, I have a lot of critique friends, and even some of my critique friends are like, yo, this is banging, fam. So I'm just working for it.
Like Jay-Z said, you want the OG, buy the old album.
You get me?
Yeah,
that's facts.
So all right, so now that you've been doing hip hop for about 3-4 years now, have you how were you able to tackle it? Were you kind of just putting out singles, just trying to get your feet wet to kind of bring your name up?
Yeah, singles. Yeah, pretty much just dropping bare different singles, seeing who reacts to who and how it reacts, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what was I guess obviously you're a songwriter and things like that. The first few songs you put out, were they what would you call those? Like, do you like
put out probably like 2 songs, and then I dropped a song called Man Down, and that's when everybody's like, oh fuck, yo, you're bad, like, you know, you could work with it. Then I started doing like more music, dropped the EP. I dropped 2 EPs, and then people are like, yeah, you know, you like could work, like keep on doing your thing.
What were the years that you dropped? You dropped the EP last year, and
two EPs in 2019.
Okay, so you hit them over the head with 2 projects.
2 projects.
All right. What would you want to do that and not kind of like, you know, stay in the back and kind of just still bang over the head with singles just to kind of see where this was gonna go? What made you want to put 2 projects?
I like to record a lot of content. Like if I'm in the studio, I don't like 1-hour sessions. I like 5-hour sessions. Try to bang out as much songs as possible. Okay. That's the type of work ethic I have, right? Because as I said, I didn't work in like retail or any of that type of field. Like my work ethics from music. So as soon as I'm in the music, I just try to do my best to just full thrust the music. Like that's where my work ethic is. So if I'm gonna go in the studio, 5 beats, 5 songs. Like, you know, that's the type of work I do.
Okay, all right. That's good. So that because of the 2 EPs, what was their name?
The first one was called Introduction, and the second one was called Winter.
Okay, so how do both those EPs sound towards each other? Was like obviously Introduction sounds like self-explanatory, like introducing to you, but how is Introduction different from Winter?
Just evolution, like just try to, cause I always like to make my last song my best song. So it's like you can have your favorite from my songs, but my favorite song is always gonna be the last song I wrote because I don't know how the last song sounds. I'm trying to find a different song, trying to find different lyrics. So that's how I gauge it. So like I would say, but one had like probably like 8 tracks, one had 4, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I would say my latest EP is better, but I know that my next one's gonna be way better. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I like to do it.
So since you're here in Toronto doing music, what artists would you want to work with in the city that's not necessarily from, I guess, your neighborhood?
All of them. Like I'm a fan of everybody's music. I don't like. I'm a different you. Like You go around people say, oh, you can't play this type of artist, can't play that. Like, I'm a daredevil. Like, I'll play that in front of you and say, what are you gonna, like, I'm not saying I want to fight, just try to prove a point, but, like, I'm just trying to show you, like, I don't care who you have a problem with, because me and you didn't grow up in that. And, like, even people from my neighborhood, like, when they have problems, I don't, because I'm not up in your mix. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, I grew up here, but I'm not a part of what you guys develop. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm my own person from I was small till now. Like, I roll, like, by myself. Anywhere I go by myself. And I'm a person that has friends in, like, every neighborhood. Like, so it's like, who you probably have a problem with, I don't necessarily have a problem with. But I wouldn't try to make you guys become, like, best friends or nothing like that. But I just know the levels.
It's all music then. It's all
music. Like, I work with anybody, to be honest.
Yeah, spread love. All right, well, that's good. And now, 2020. I know we got the coronavirus right now. Everyone's on quarantine and things like that. But before this happened, I know you were putting out music and things like that. So you started to bring this year to go hit them over the head with more singles?
Yeah, I dropped like this track called Ghost Town last month. So almost 70K views within a month. I was like even surprised myself, because, like, you know, management after, like, shout out to management now, because they really marketed the single, made me know, say, yo, okay, like, there's way more than just the music. Like, the business is, like, really the biggest aspect of this shit. Because probably if I dropped that single on my dolo, like, it would have probably been, like, all my regular songs. Like 70K is my biggest views of all time. Like, I didn't even think, like, you know, you have those aspirations, but, like, seeing it really happen, you're like, holy shit. Like, you know what I mean? It makes me, as an artist, proud of myself. And it's, like, my first major hip-hop single, too, right? So it's, like,
so once you got a part of, because you weren't what manager meant beforehand, you were kind of just doing it on your own.
Freestyle. Just going about it how I thought it was supposed to be went about, right?
So structure allowed you to, I guess, take out the full potential that you had and put it out to the world.
I could just strictly focus on music. Say, yo, this is the product. Management wraps it up and distributes it. You know what I mean?
That works. So you dropped another track in, I believe, top of the year as well? Or
so this song I called Switched Up, where I shot and edited everything for myself, because, like, as I said, like, I'm mad, I try to do everything by myself. So I went out, bought 2 cameras, bought my own setup in my house, tried to record and all of that, but, like, that only gets you so far. You actually need a team behind you to help you work. So the first release wasn't as successful as this release, right? So it's like a different type of vibe.
So you mentioned that you said you bought your own camera and you edited it yourself. So are you now more of a director when it comes to your music videos as well?
Yeah, I don't like the regular condo type shit. Like, I always like storylines in my music videos. So, like, I'll take the time out and write the whole script and to give it to the director, and hopefully it comes out the best way as possibly can and shit.
All right, so what have you been doing during the quarantine? I know that, you know, it slowed down a lot of things, but, like, how you as an artist, you and your music, and what you been doing during this time?
Just writing, recording, trying to get the visuals right. Just by the time this quarantine's done, I come out with a strong enough fan base where I can, like, dominate the scene. Like, you know, my goal by the end of the year is to be, like, mentioned in, like, the top 10 Toronto artists, right? I'm starting from the ground. I'm trying to build my way up so everybody I'm a kind of a household name now. That's my big goal right now. You know what I mean? I want to be different, and I still want to end up being different from everybody else. I don't want to be at the same time labeled as the next guy. I want to be, okay, you know, that's Windy, like Ray Tay, like, you know what I mean? That's my vibe right now.
Exactly. So I remember we were speaking on it. R.I.P. to this man, Pop Smoke, but, like, people, when they see me as Windysmoke, they would think that you had either affiliation or some type of name with them. So, I mean, you said you were Windysmoke, but a lot longer than
before. Like, Pop Smoke probably blew up the next year, like 2018, right? And I had that name since, like, 2017. Changed my name. Like, originally it was my Instagram name. I didn't go as, like, an artist, but then I'm like, yo, I'm just gonna use this as my artist name because I want to rebrand myself. There you
go. And also, so sometimes, a lot of times over the internet, like, people will, like, hey, this, that, and the third, they kind of just add things. But do you think that's gonna hinder you in terms of?
Nah, cause I'm a man that's been going through, like, that type of stuff since I was a youth. Like, people always trying to talk down on me. People always trying to, cause, like, as I said, like, I'm a different type of youth. Like, I never followed the trend. So when everybody was on Jordans, I got on Jordans when everybody's on designer. I was like, holy fuck! Like, I'm so late to the party and shit. So it's like, but I always never let that shit bother me. Like, I always carved my own lane and went about my shit my way, like, you know what I mean? And I still did everything that everybody else was doing, so it didn't really bother me. And I'm still gonna continue to do what everybody else is doing, and you know what I mean?
Exactly. Alright, so before we get out of here, like, what else can people expect from you in 2020?
Everything, like music videos, collaborations.
Do you have any collabs in the work right now, or?
Yeah, I have like a couple in the work right now. Like, that's what I'm just trying to finalize and lock them in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I like our music over here, but I like American music too. So anywhere I could like get it right, I want to get it there. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I'm collabs, just trying to make my name become like a household name. Like, you know what I mean? Like become a star. Like my goal is not to be out here every day. Like, you know, like when I look at myself, I look up to stars. I look up to like Michael Jackson. I said Vibes Cartel, Bob Marley, Elvis Presley. Like those are the type of artists that I look up to. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the levels that I wish to reach one day. Like, you know what I mean? You have to put your hat high to try to catch it. So that's the type of vibe that I'm under right now.
All right, man, that's great. To be honest,
Yeah, that's the vibe.
And you got, like you said, you got to aim high, right?
Yeah.
And then when you aim as high as possible, you aiming at Michael Jackson. Then if you go right under Michael Jackson, that's on a bad list as well.
You get me?
You feel me? So, all right, man. Where can people follow you? Where can people listen to your music?
Everything Windysmoke. You know what I mean? Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all social medias, all platforms.
And people are trying to find out your dancehall music. Is that all like wiped off their face of their head?
Nah, that's Truckmatics.
You're trying to hear what
everything.
something beforehand. You can check them out.
Because you have to have, like, before you're saying, like, you have to know, like, the past, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to know where you're coming from. So you can always find me at Truckmatics and that type of stuff too.
All right.
Okay.
Man, this is Apollo P with Two Bridge TV, man. This is my man, Windysmoke. Go check him out.
Shout out to Two Bridge, because Two Bridge was the first person to even plug me in on their socials back in 2017 when I dropped Where It Happened. So, like, you know, that was major for me too.
That means they saw the potential from way back then.
Yeah, that was major.
Like I said, man, this is Apollo P with Two Bridge TV and Windysmoke, man. Check them out. Make sure if you want to keep on seeing more interviews over here, make sure you like and subscribe. And we'll be back with another one.